Throw the ball fine. If not, we'll just line up and run off tackle. That's a lot of fun. Look. Good. That's all it is. Woo!
Really, a lot of them, I don't think, understand what kind of football we're playing. I don't think they understand what all these players do. This is the best football in the area. There isn't any better football in our area.
Well, it's very tough. You know, it is the summertime. A lot of people go away during the weekends. And, you know, football season, you know, in this area, football season is basically late summer, early fall.
1984, the national championship for the Scranton Eagles, a year the other teams could only dream about. They won 17 games, lost 2, and over the last 3 years, the Eagles have won almost 90% of their games. But this isn't the same team that won the national championship last year. Gone are 6 starters from the defense and the starting quarterback, Corey Davies.
And now I like it that they're down. They want to get back to a little pride. They lost a lot of pride last Saturday getting beat. And so things are looking pretty good for us attitude-wise, and that's the big thing. We have some good football players here, and trying to build a good team out of losing 5 or 6 people is going to be a big challenge.
Missing some of the key talent that won the championship, first-year coach Butch Keller, a 4-year assistant for Scranton, will be forced to field a lineup filled with question marks.
Well, what I like is the enthusiasm. Everybody wants to play and wants to win. I think that's the biggest part of it.
About to prove that last year was no fluke, and although last week we had a rough week, we're going to improve and we're going to get better and better.
Winning is Keller's first priority, but that's not the only thing on his mind.
If we can't get public support for a national champ, you know, and it's supposed to be a community team, there's not really much sense in having it.
Double flanker, wing right, ends cross, wing hook in the middle, 0-4, on one. Ready?
So as the Eagles break out for the 85 season, the biggest question right now is not if they can repeat as the national champions, but if they can draw the fans out to the games. For News 22 Sports, I'm Jay Chapman.
Alternating quarterbacks almost never works, but the Scranton Eagles must be doing something right. John Kennedy and Sal Butera have been trading off the snaps every play this year. The team is 7-1, 6-0 in the conference, and showing signs of getting stronger each game. So why go with 2 generals when one could do the job?
Well, I think the main reason is we can get the plays in. There will be no mistakes on our getting the plays in. You send them with the quarterback, they know what the play is. And I think that's, if they weren't equal, we probably wouldn't do that. They're starting to show their talents, and they get along very well. They've both accepted their roles very well.
Football is a game of pride, and a situation like this could blow up any time. But Keller still believes he has made the right decision, and with good reason. Just look at the results. Last week, the Eagles' offense pasted Watertown 44-0. With the pair.
The big plus to it is helping each other out. When he does something right, I come up and tell him to calm down. If he does something right, I give him a high five and tell him, good job, you know.
As long as it works, you got to dance with who brung you, keep it going.
They're both unselfish guys. They cheer each other on, and they're very unselfish.
We could have had a problem with the team. We could have had a problem individually with them. You know, one guy could have gotten down and had a bad day and might have had a little ego problem, and we might have had the team pick one and follow them, but they really didn't do that.
Unless the offense slows down, the Eagles will run with the same setup, 2 quarterbacks. But the question remains, who's better?
Which one of you is the better quarterback?
Boy, I'll tell you, that is the roughest question that was asked all year long.
We're both equal, and I'm not going to say anything different. As long as we're going like this, I'm just going to say the same thing. We're equal.
Call it sour grapes, but there are some people who say the Scranton Eagles received an at-large bid to the national playoffs as sort of a payoff. Why? Because the Eagles paid most of the expenses for minor professional football's postseason play the past 3 years. The Eagles say that's not the case.
We got into the national playoffs because we're the national champs, and no one has really beaten us. We've beaten ourselves. The teams that beat us didn't have 150 yards combined total offense, both teams combined together. So, you know, we really didn't get beat by another team.
The Eagles ended the year with a nice 10-3 record, as good, if not better, than many other teams who also made the playoffs. Running back Frank Yannick, who's been around minor pro football a long time, can't understand the bad-mouthing by other teams who claim Scranton shouldn't be there.
When it comes down to it, I don't know if maybe that's what they were thinking, but I doubt it. I think they want Scranton in because we're defending national champs, and with a record like we have, I think we proved that we deserve to be there.
You feel like you have to prove yourself twice over now, not only because you're national champions, but because of what some people are saying about why you're in the playoffs.
Yes and no. I think it's, I really don't listen to what other people say. I just feel myself that we played a couple bad games, and DFL isn't as easy as we thought it was. If we played the way we should have, it would have been easy, but it wasn't.
So there's no excuses from the Scranton Eagles as to how they got into the national playoffs. As far as they're concerned, they're right where they should be as defending national champions. And they'll be playing in round one of the playoffs Saturday night at 7:30 at Scranton Memorial Stadium. Tim Carlson, Sports Watch 16, Scranton.
Love it, Bobby. Love it, Bobby.
Most thought he would never play football again. Frank Yannick has always carried the ball. He's carried it more than 10,000 yards, a major accomplishment. But when his Achilles tendon was severed last season, it looked like his playing days were over. He's far from finished. In fact, he may even play again this season.
I can remember in practice, one of the running backs said, "Oh God, my Achilles is hurt," you know, and I said, "Jesus," I said, "Don't hurt that. Whatever you do, don't hurt your Achilles." I said, because if you hurt your Achilles, you're through.
It was only 6 months ago when Frank Yannick was in a hospital bed. 6 months later, he is at the Scranton Eagles practice. He is not practicing, he is standing on the sidelines. But for him, that is one major step towards his goal.
He's like a fire dog, you know. When the bell goes, he's going, and that's the way Frank is. When it comes time for football, Frank wants to play football, and he's the best around.
Yannick may be the shortest player on the field. He likes to call it a lack of height, but he's got tremendous heart. He's played in the Canadian Football League, the USFL. This year, the New York Giants and Philadelphia Eagles contacted him. That says a lot about his ability, but returning from this injury says a whole lot more about his character.
To have something retire you, or something that stops you from doing something you love so much, is really hard to take, you know, and it makes you want it twice as bad.
Yannick hopes to return sometime in late July. We wish him all the best. For News 22 Sports, I'm Jay Chapman.
All right.
Power play to our right.
Wait, I got to tighten it up now. I loosen all the shit up.
Well, it means to be the best football player in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area. Only the good players come out for the Eagles. We're looking for someone who's out of high school, wants to hit people, wants to have a lot of fun, be a little physical, have a great time in the weekend, and want to play football for us. You'll have a great time. We're looking for that kind of people. We want hitters. We're missing some defensive backs, defensive linemen, linebackers, that type of thing. We're really missing them.
Any names? Can you mention some names?
Yeah, we lost Braviak, Brennan, Kuha, guys like that were, you know, Yakovazi, which led the country in interceptions career, you know, Scotty Reiner, all these people. You just can't replace those guys.
12 days from now. Let's go. Come on. Bend those arms, John Sirota.
The Eagles open up at home July 11th against the Jersey Oaks. It's not too far off. Of course, last year's club took it to the finals and lost a tough one to the Chicago Cardinals. However, it's a new season, and there's a lot of new faces.
This is an interesting year. We have a mix of a lot of rookies and a lot of good veterans, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're really coming together, I think.
A lot of young guys, a lot of rookies. Probably about the same as my year. My first year, we had a lot of rookies, and we did pretty well, so that's good. We need the rookies.
Press that bugger. Okay, come on. Where's the officials?
Chris, man, you're on film.
All right.
Good job, John. Good team. Motion switch.
We changed strength.
Come on, shouldn't break, Charles.
Come on,
Longo.
Inexperienced guys got a little experience early in the year, and when we had our losses, we had problems here and there. I think we straightened those out, plus a lot of veterans have come back since then who were thinking about playing and maybe not, and finally they decided to come back, so we should be pretty solid all around.
91. Sit. Hut.
Now.
We'll get ready for them the same way we did the last game. We had a successful game the second time we met them and beat them 21-0, so we should prepare the same way that we did there.
What do you got to do to beat them offensively?
We got to mix it up. We can't rely too much on one thing. What we do, when preparing for Binghamton lately, has been a lot of variable formations, a lot of 2 tight end things or 3 wide receivers and no tight ends, a lot of things that are different than what we normally do during the season.
That's good timing, Tony. Nice ball. Nice ball.
You be right at home. You think that yesterday?
Like, this is, hey, Bush, don't you find it a little suspicious that I practice not practicing with a sprained ankle? You can't get it? Well, I'm looking at a tough defense. You know, they're undefeated up there, and I think if the offensive line does their job, I think everything should be pretty good.
It's just that we don't have many turnovers. We don't fumble the ball. We get our kicking game in stride, you know, good punts, good kickoff, and things like that. And it's like I said, if we don't make too many mistakes, I think we'll be right in the ball game.
The Scranton Eagles, because that's when they play football around here. Good evening, everyone, and to cap off one of the hottest weeks in years, the sport of football is highlighted this weekend when the 1988 version of the Scranton Eagles take to the field. The Eagles will host New England in the first of 2 preseason games before league play begins on July 23rd. It was a regimented night of action tonight as the Scranton Eagles put the final touches on preseason training camp as they got ready for the weekend opener. Veteran head coach Butch Keller likes the look of his team going in.
I think we have a lot of veterans back, and we had an outstanding team last year, and we should be in that same situation if we get the performance from them we did last year. And we have quite a few new people that have a lot of potential to be good football players, and so we're very optimistic.
The 1988 version of the Scranton Eagles will have the usual amount of new players working within the system as the club again makes a run at a possible league championship. The talent is always there, and this team will be slightly younger.
The talent's great, but whether or not we're ready to play yet is a different thing. We're coming along slow but sure. We'll see what happens Saturday.
There's a little more younger guys coming out. There seems to be a little bit of a transition. We don't have all the guys back from last year, but it seems to be meshing well.
The Eagles, always a force in the league and a national contender each year, once again have dedicated their efforts to challenge for just about everything.
In our national rankings, our league has had at least 4, sometimes 5 people nationally ranked, and there's no other league in the country that has that, so we're very proud of that. And the national champion has come from this league probably, 3 of the last 5 years, something like that.
The Scranton Eagles opener Saturday night, 7:30 at Memorial Stadium in Scranton. The popularity of softball has grown by league.
They open their exhibition season against the New England Crusaders. The final tonight, Scranton opens up on a winning note, 29-0. We'll pick it up in the first period. Some of the crowd on hand watching the game at Memorial Stadium. Eagles on the New England 28. John Kennedy rolls right and finds Mike Romanishin in the end zone for the touchdown. Scranton takes a 7-0 lead. The Eagles had an excellent opportunity later in the first period, but at the 12-yard line, they fumbled away the football, and the Crusaders recovered. The players may change and the years, but one thing remains the same, that tough Eagles defense again tonight there. Bob Cohen and Gene Scalise combining for the sack. The Eagles open their exhibition season on a winning note, 29-0 tonight over New England. Major League Baseball exhibition game tonight against New England Crusaders up in Scranton. Eagles on the board first in the first quarter, that is. John Kennedy, former Channel 16 sports intern, over to Mike Romanishin for the touchdown, 7-0 Scranton. In the second, New England, they will botch the punt, and Scranton will recover on the 2-yard line. Next play, Eagles set up the nice screen pass. Tony Angeli will get the pass here from Kennedy, and he will sweep right and take it in. The final
the Scranton Eagles win their first exhibition game of the year, 29-0 over New England. Well, in the NFL,
of July, and Mike Schmidt finally passed Mickey Mantle tonight. Good evening, everyone. The high-powered Scranton Eagles will wrap up preseason competition this weekend by hosting the Jersey Cougars at Panther Valley High School in Lansford. Sid Michaels has more on the club coming off a big win last weekend.
The scoreboard read 29-0, but the Eagles' win over New England last Saturday could have been by a larger margin, and it left room for improvement.
Well, we were glad we won. We weren't very sharp offensively, but considering they had played 2 or 3 games, we were kind of happy. We probably lost 3 touchdowns more than we should have scored.
It was probably nice to start that way, at least low key as far as injuries and things like that, but it wasn't a good barometer as far as how good we're doing.
Defensively, the Eagles show the same hard-hitting play that has become this team's trademark. Offensively, though, the club will have to be sharper this weekend against the Jersey Cougars.
The offense has quite a bit of improvement to go yet. We have to wait and see when everything gets together against a tougher team, which hopefully we'll see this week to get ready for the season.
Jersey is a much better team than New England, and the Eagles know they'll have to raise their game a notch for Saturday.
This is a much better team. This team we're playing beat that team, shut them out 20-something to nothing. And talking to them, the team we played last week as a scouting report, they said this team's big and they run a lot of things like we do, and so we're expecting a much tougher game.
The Eagles and Jersey Cougars meet Saturday 7:30 at Panther Valley High School in Lansford. Sid Michaels, Eyewitness Sports Nightcast.
The District 16 Little League softball playoffs resume tonight. The game we covered featured
with Chopper 22 and reports live from anywhere via WYOU's exclusive SpaceLink 22. This is News 22.
Good evening. Almost a repeat performance this afternoon of the severe weather that rocked this area last night. Most of northeastern Pennsylvania was under a severe storm watch this afternoon, a watch that's been lifted now for all but a few counties. More from meteorologist Scott Connell in just a few moments. First, here's what it looked like in Carbon County around 4 this afternoon. High winds and rains buffeted trees from side to side. The downpour made driving hazardous in some places, and as was the case yesterday, it knocked down trees and power lines. Folks all over the region spent much of the day cleaning up from last night's damage. Lightning last night sparked a
Eagles put 29 points on the board in the final quarter to walk away with a 35-13 victory. Not an impressive showing for the Eagles through 3 quarters last night. The Cougars get on the board early. Mike Lindsay goes up top and deep and hits Sylvester Hill. Point after good, Cougars up 7-0. For the Eagles, quarterback John Kennedy, 10 of 19, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns, but right here, one of 2 interceptions. Elliott Phillips picks it off, rambles down the sideline before he is finally knocked out of bounds. They had to bring it back due to a clipping penalty. Later in the second quarter, Lindsay up top once again, and once again he hits Sylvester Hill, 13-0 Cougars. But the Eagles rally for 35 unanswered points. Wideout Mark Lloyd, the big night, 5 catches, 121 yards, nice timing pattern with Kennedy right there. And the Eagles linebackers had quite a game. Mike Brennan with the stop behind the line. Scranton wins 35-13. Joining us in our studios this evening is the quarterback of the Scranton Eagles, John Kennedy, who played his high school ball at Scranton Prep and who's in his second year as the #1 quarterback for the Eagles. And John, a slow start last night. What got it going for you guys in the fourth quarter?
Well, after our lightning delay, I think it was a combination of our defense shutting down their potent passing attack, and our offensive line started really blocking well and picking up what they were doing on defense. Some adjustments that we made during that break when the rain came down heavy. Our offense got our timing together and we were able to get in the end zone.
Now, with only 2 games under your belts right now, is the timing of the offense, the timing of the entire team what it should be at this point?
Well, I think it's as good as it can be right now, although we still have some more things to work on. But I think it took a game like that where we were down 13-0 almost at halftime, and we felt we had to come together as a team. And it seems like every time that we do that, or we've done it in the last couple of years and we've been down and needed to pull together, is the times that we did. And I think that helped us to prepare for our opening game next week.
Now, if I was your schedule maker, I'd try to spread out those tough ball games. But on your schedule this year, your 2 toughest games are right at the beginning of the season. How does the team feel about that?
Well, I think most of the guys, especially the veterans, know that it's a good test when we're able to play the tougher teams first, because then we know what we have and what they have. We have to also remember that they don't have a lot of games under their belts, so they're also in the same situation. And if we can come away with the first 2 wins of the season, we'll be in good shape towards the playoffs.
All right, John, good luck to you on Saturday night. That's the Eagles against Marlboro, Saturday night, Memorial Stadium at 7:30. And Russ, maybe we can go over in between shows and see the game, huh?
All right, good deal.
All right.
The big night for Dave Winfield. All the scores and the highlights next on the Sports
Game against Marlboro is any indication. They once again have a very, very strong team in 1988. The Scranton Eagles open up their 1988 regular season tonight at Memorial Stadium. In town, the Marlboro Shamrocks making their debut in the Empire Football League. The Eagle defense, well, they pitched a shutout tonight in front of the Memorial Stadium crowd, although the Shamrocks pulled off a very well-executed screenplay right here. Mike Grassis picks up a block and picks up some very good yardage as well. The Eagle offense looked good. John Kennedy over 200 yards passing once again. His favorite receiver, Mark Lloyd, with some fancy footwork down the sidelines. On the ground, it was Frank Yannick who really put a charge into the offense. 122 yards on the ground, and he took some hard knocks as well. It was Yannick who would get the game's first score on a short run. Tony Angeli had 3 other scores on the ground. Scranton blanks Marlboro tonight. The final 28-0. Well, the field is now set for tomorrow's Summer 500 from the Pocono International Raceway. Morgan Shepherd will be on the pole as time trials drew to a close earlier today. Goodyear tires have been banned from the race, but the blimp is not and was in full view this afternoon. A number of drivers trying to better their times on day 2, but not much luck. As for Parsons right here, who will start from the 29th spot. Best time of the day went to Lake Speed. You can below the name. Speed's time 155.8.
Gotta love that nickname, but the Shamrocks didn't fare too well as we've got the highlights from Memorial Stadium. Second quarter scoreless, but quarterback John Kennedy gets his team moving with this 20-yard pass to Mark Lloyd, and they are in Marlboro territory. 7 plays later, Tony Angeli takes it up the gut from 3 yards out. Touchdown. That made it 7-0 Eagles, and that was the score at the half. Early third quarter, however, Scranton on the doorstep, and Angeli gets the call again. This 2-yard touchdown run made it 14-0. Angeli ended up with 3 TDs. Frank Yannick, 132 yards, and the defense was pretty impressive. The final, take a look at the score. Scranton Eagles off to a good start, 28-0. In other sports news on this Saturday, the last
with the nickname Shamrocks. That's Tony Angeli puts the Eagles up 7-0 in the first. Then in the third quarter, it's Angeli again takes Kennedy's handoff for the touchdown. That made it 14-0. The Eagles go on to shut out the Shamrocks. They are now 1-0 this year. They win 28-0. Well, for the second straight year, a European golfer will be trying to. Area athlete will have something to do with the outcome of the game. Well, almost. We'll show you the highlights. Mickey Gorham, the athletic director at Myers High School, coaching the Pennsylvania All-Stars, watching Maryland strike early in the second quarter. Quarterback Matt Casneton to Steve Fitzgerald for the touchdown. Maryland is up 10-7. But then, Marion Catholic's Eric Hackenberg. Watch him pitch left to Ragib Ismail of Wilkes-Barre Myers, and there goes the rocket down the left sideline. A big pickup of 34 yards. He's out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Ragib then takes it in for the score. That put Pennsylvania up 14-10. Right now it's at halftime. Yes, halftime. It's rain delay in the Big 33 game. Pennsylvania leads Maryland 21-13 at halftime. Okay, 3 out of 4 inductees into Pro Football's Hall of Fame today are natives of Western Pennsylvania. Former Oakland Raider Fred Biletnikoff, along with Steelers great Jack Ham and Bears head coach Mike Ditka, were enshrined today, all from the western part of the state. And rounding out the 4 Hall of Famers, Alan Page of the Minnesota Vikings. Well, after the ceremonies, they played some football. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams started the NFL's exhibition season. That's Kurt Schoner on the keeper for the Bengals since he was up 7-0 at halftime. Nice defense here by Cincinnati. David Fulcher, the safety, a 230-pound safety with the interception. Watch him with the moves down the sidelines. He goes out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. They score again. Schoner to Ira Hillary for the touchdown. Bengals win it 14-7 over Los Angeles in today's Hall of Fame game. The NFL also paid a visit to Easton today as the Jets and Redskins played in front of a nice crowd at Lafayette College. Washington was up 3-0 when Mark Pippin connects with Ricky Sanders for the 37-yard gain. Then Reeves took it around the left side on the next play to put Washington up 10-0, but the Jets came roaring back to score a bunch of touchdowns. They win it 49-41 over the defending Super Bowl champs. Well, Scranton Eagles are also rolling. They took a perfect 3-0 record into tonight's game with the Albany Metro Maulers. Maulers didn't do any mauling, though. tonight in Scranton. We'll check out the action up at the stadium. Second quarter, 2 minutes before half. Scranton is already up 35-7. Yes, indeed. Terry Kennedy hands off to Wally Cunningham for the score. 42-7. Head coach Butch Keller whooping it up on the sidelines, and why not? Scranton Eagles playing good ball. Eagles add a field goal here late in the game. They win it. Frankie Yannick, 4 touchdowns, 101 yards tonight. Scranton 45, Albany 14.
Passes, great catch. John Lloyd, 14-6 Scranton. Later, second quarter, screen pass to Frank Yannick. And watch the little spark plug. He stampedes in, 35-6. Defense strong. Brennan picks it off. Nice play, number 58. Later, the big fullback, Cunningham. He bulls his way across, 41-6 at the break. But the second half, all the red and black scored 3 times. Here, quarterback Chris Carman, take a look at this run by number 12, 24 yards. And the Eagles had to hold on to outgun Watertown 41-25. Scranton is now 5-0. Up next, 2 tough road games at always look out, always tough Syracuse and Glens Falls. There was a tough golf tournament out west this afternoon.
Ward first in the first quarter, the 17-yard TD pass, Cam Collins to Terry Cece, and it's 7-0 Bootleggers. The Eagles came right back out. Quarterback John Kennedy airs one out to Mark Lloyd. It's a touchdown, 21 yards in the play, 7-6 as they missed the point after. After Ottawa made it 10-6 on a field goal, Scranton scored again, same combo. Kennedy to Lloyd. This time it's 37 yards, and it's 14-10 Eagles. One more time for the Birds before the half. This time quarterback Kennedy sneaks it through for the touchdown, and the final, the Eagles beat Ottawa to go 9-0, the final 47-10. Now to baseball. And
Memorial Stadium in Scranton. Kickoff time is set for 7:30. Sid Michaels has more on that game and the Eagles' preparation for a shot at the title.
Playoffs are nothing new to the Scranton Eagles. The club has had a postseason appearance in each of their existing years. The team that will play for the Empire League title 2 nights from now just may be the best of the lot.
Oh, I think this team is the best when everyone's here and everyone's healthy. And when, man for man, I think this is the best team.
It's probably the most balanced.
Yeah, offensively, we have so many weapons that we've never had before. We can throw the ball for a straight diet of throwing. We can run the ball. You know, and our defense has been doing quite well, too.
For the EFL Championship, the Eagles will be going against the Ottawa Bootleggers for the 3rd time this season. They've already beaten this team twice, but when the Bootleggers come to town on Saturday, it could be a different team than the Eagles have already seen.
They might be loading up with some more guys, but the factor there is that we've played together all season, and if they pick up some superstars from Canada and other places, that they haven't played together, and that's an advantage to us.
The game is Saturday at Scranton Memorial Stadium, 7:30. $1 of each ticket will be donated by the Eagles to the United Way. Sid Michaels, Eyewitness Sports.
Congratulations to the Dallas High School cross-country team. The Mountaineers today won the league champion.
They did in the second and third, or the third and fourth period, and they went on to beat Ottawa 14-7. They win the Empire Football League championship. They end the season with a record of 14-0. And we're out of numbers and out of time.
And for Penn.
Fixture on their schedule. The Eagles beat Tidewater 22-19 today. They had to come back. That's 22-15. They had to come back behind in that game. That's a semi-pro national playoff game, and the Scranton Eagles are in the next round.
Eagles got their fill today, and it wasn't of turkey. Scranton battled Tidewater, and talk about getting the daylight scared out of you. Nice weather, nice crowd out at Old Memorial Stadium. Not a bad game. Pirates struck gold first possession, first play. He's got it. J.R. White on the bomb. 8-0 visitors, and who was that guy? Back comes the home team. Second quarter, Frank Yannick untouched. 8-8. The crowd is awakened. Then late in the half, Tidewater's going to hit another home run. The bomb, he says, thank you very much, and is gone for a touchdown. The Eagles trail 15-7 through 3, and yes, we're a little stunned. Then came the fourth. J.K. Kennedy rolls, looking for the fullbacks, got him to Angeli. 15-14, trail by 1. The crowd, come on, boys. Then late in the game, Kennedy again, talk about a little bit of luck, squirts through his hands, right to number 7, Bob Hivner. He can't believe it. The Eagles gut one out over the pesky Pirates, 22-15. Scranton, as you saw, had its hands full, and once again, the mighty Eagles came through. The Vikings came through in flying colors.
By 16 over Green Bay. Indianapolis, Eric Dickerson, 169 yards. They beat Miami by 3. Cincinnati, no problems with San Diego. In Cleveland, the Cowboys trying to avoid their 10th straight loss. 13-3. Minnesota all over New Orleans in the third. The Jets by 6 over Kansas City in the third. In Los Angeles, the Raiders lead Denver in the third. Scranton Eagles play their final game of the season today. Scranton hosting Syracuse in the Empire Football League Challenge. And these highlights courtesy of the Department of Redundancy Department. Eagles up 14-7. John Kennedy to Mark Lloyd, 35 yards. Nice pass and catch. 21-7. Eagles have the lead in the third quarter. Scranton back with the ball on their own 30. It's Kennedy to Lloyd again. Look at him go down the sidelines. This goes for 53 yards. He's out of bounds at the 17. 3 plays later, it's Kennedy to Lloyd, the touchdown. 28-17. 10 receptions for Lloyd, 173 yards. Frank Yannick finishes out his career with Scranton, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 41-13. Well, next week,
a perfect flight this afternoon. Scranton smashed Syracuse to win the Empire Football League Championship. Now, these two flipped the coin twice during the regular season, and twice our boys whipped them. Express would come out strong, follow the bouncing ball. Who's got it? Number 5's got it. A little bit of luck. The drive continued in the second. Quarterback Mike Kometz forced out and then lets her rip. Smith's got it. 7-0 visitors. Stuffs it. Tony Angeli, don't worry. Scranton then got it in gear. J.K. Kennedy, a rope to Lloyd. The pass sets up the run. The fire hydrant, Yannick, blasts on in. 7-7. The fans cold but happy. The Eagles led 21-7 in the third. Lloyd for 6, 28-7. The route was on. Now watch Frank. Yannick raced through him for over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Final Scranton 41, Express 13.
Anytime we're 17-0 and undefeated, we're happy. We played real well. We played the defending national champions, and we did a pretty good job on them. Our offense is real sharp. Kennedy was real sharp. Lloyd was sharp. Our offensive line did a great job, and Yannick had a big game, and as everybody did.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, the Empire Football League, we want to give you the first Empire Cup.
That's a nice trophy, huh? Scranton caps a perfect season with a big win, and as I said at 6, this Eagles team was the best ever. If ever there was a
team in the Empire Football League. This afternoon, makes sense, doesn't it? This afternoon in the challenge, the final challenge of the series, Scranton Eagles finished the year 16-0. They hosted Syracuse this afternoon, already up 14-7 in the second quarter when John Kennedy drops back. John Kennedy drops back, there he goes, and he will hit John Lloyd up top, 35 yards for the touchdown. Eagles up 21-7, and the route is on. Third quarter now, Kennedy and Lloyd hook up again. This one, on the other side of the field, a beautiful throw, goes for 53 yards. He's out of bounds at the 17. 3 plays later, it's Kennedy to who else but Lloyd for the touchdown. Lloyd finished the day with 173 yards receiving. Longtime great Frank Yannick finished his career, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. Eagles beat Syracuse 41-13. In baseball, the Los Angeles...
The Eagles beat Syracuse for win number 17 this season. It's also Scranton's 28th straight win over 2 seasons. They're now trying to set up a game with Racine, Wisconsin, who won their National Playoff Football Series. Eagles trail 7-0 today, but tied when Frank Yannick scored his 40th career touchdown. This one was even at 7. Also in the first half, John Kennedy and Mark Lloyd hooked up for a couple of long touchdown passes. This one 36 yards. Later, they connected one more time. Scranton wins the Empire Football League Challenge as they defeat Syracuse today. Again, the final of that one was 41-13, and congratulations tonight to the Scranton Eagles. Baseball's winter...
The stadium. The Red Barons are the prime tenants, but we've seen high school, college baseball, a rock concert, and later this summer we'll see football. That's right, the Scranton Eagles will play some of their games at the stadium this season. The Eagles are already in there working out, practicing, getting used to the artificial surface.
I think it's great as far as fans. Hopefully we'll be able to get a bigger crowd, being that they sell beer here and stuff like that. But artificial turf is tough for playing a lot of games on. I'm worried about injury factor because we aren't deep sometimes at certain positions.
The Eagles are making sure this big new stadium will have some screaming Eagles fans in it. They're giving away 20,000 tickets. Yeah, giving them away.
The problem we have to adjust to right now is what do we do to people who don't have tickets? Are they going to charge them at the gate, or are they going to let them in free? We're not sure what they're doing yet, and that's going to be worked out probably tomorrow.
The Eagles have been practicing wherever they could find a field and playing home games at Scranton Memorial Stadium, and that's going to change this year, at least part of the time. We're going to see some great stuff at Wimbledon this final week, but we are going to miss out on
Here's Chuck Howard. It will be a night of firsts tomorrow night. Of course, the first game of the season for the Eagles, but more importantly, it will be the first football game ever played at the new stadium as the Eagles host the New Jersey Cougars. And the question on everybody's mind is the artificial turf.
We're going to try and do the same thing we've always done. We have to be able to run the ball. We have to be able to throw the ball. You know, and again, Stanley Karski's the offensive coordinator, and that's his thing. He really likes to do both.
Now, for years, the Eagles have been known as a hard-nosed, straight-ahead running football team, and a big part of that running game has been longtime Eagle running back Frank Yannick. He's back for another go-around, and how will the turf affect his game?
I think you have to adjust to some things, and when you're running patterns and cutting, you have to be aware of when you do make a plant step that you're really going to stick to it, whereas on grass or dirt, you're going to have a little bit of give.
The Eagles will take their 25-game winning streak into tomorrow night's tilt, 17 of those 25 coming last season. And with a squad of 54 players on this year's roster, the Eagles are as deep as ever.
Especially in the past week. We've had a lot of practices here the past week, more than we usually practice, and we've come together all right this week.
Kickoff is slated for 7:30.
Fireworks display following the game. Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow night kicks off a big week of local semi and pro football with the area's two teams both involved in preseason competition. The several-time Empire League and national champion Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles begin their preseason schedule tomorrow night, hosting Brooklyn in Memorial Stadium in Scranton. Kickoff time set for 6 p.m. The workout was a very spirited one as head coach Butch Keller ran the Eagles through one more session in preparation for their game tomorrow night. The veteran leader has enjoyed the effort of this group over the past 3 weeks.
We're kind of excited. We're ready to go tomorrow. We're starting football off in this area, and we're really anxious.
Obviously, the Eagles would like to win tomorrow night's game, but the emphasis will be in all areas of football, not just on the scoreboard, as they look for basic progress.
We're going to check on our conditioning, of course. That's a big thing. Our offense, we're not sure yet about our offense. We have a couple new people in the line and a couple of receivers and backs. We're a little shaky there, and we want to find out what's going on.
The City Fathers, led by Scranton Mayor Jimmy Connors, turned out tonight and will be on the sidelines tomorrow night. A collective endorsement and show of support for the 1990 Scranton Eagles.
This is a championship team, national champions. It makes us proud in Scranton and Wilkes-Barre to have a championship team. We're going to turn out so many people tomorrow night in this season to see this team, and we're going to win.
The Scranton Eagles and the Brooklyn Kings in Memorial Stadium in Scranton. Kickoff time tomorrow night is set for...
That from Deborah.
It used to be the Scranton Eagles. Now it's the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles.
Yeah, well, we're all in this together.
Well, one thing hasn't changed is the fact that they play for the championship every year. I'll tell you what. It is once again national championship title time for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles of the Minor League Football Alliance. Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, they will play the Illinois Force in what is billed as Title Bowl 2. Terry Gurn with a look at the Eagles as they go for yet another national title.
Saturday afternoon may mark the end of the season for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles, but it also may be the start to a dynasty. With a victory over the Illinois Force in the MLFA Title Bowl, the Eagles will have captured their second consecutive national championship. And along with that comes instant respectability.
We're very proud of that. If we would win this, back-to-back in both leagues, Ron Real one and this one, and actually the 2 years before that we thought we were the best in the country, but we couldn't get in any of the playoffs.
In this national playoff system that we have this year, it's a lot more credible. We're, I think, involved with 12 leagues and 250 teams across the country, so it's really credible, and we're really looking forward to it.
To win the title and maintain their #1 ranking, the Eagles will have to contain a very potent Illinois passing attack on Saturday. And as it has all season long, the defense must take control.
For us, really, we're going to just contain, do what we've been doing all year, and come on strong early. That's the only thing we have to do is just come on strong early instead of in the second half.
So we must shut down the home run passes. I hope we can stop the run. We may be able to stop most of the runs of the defense. If our defense plays as well as it has been the last couple of games, it'll be a real low-scoring game.
The biggest question mark heading into Saturday's game is the time off that both teams have had. The Eagles haven't played a game in 2 weeks, while Illinois has been idle for 3. The players think that'll be a help, but the coach has other thoughts.
It's got to hurt both teams. We're not really sharp yet.
But you know, when it comes time to tee it up on Saturday, the Eagles will most certainly be ready and set to take home another national championship. I'm Terry Gurn with you at the stadium for News 22 Sports.
Thank you, Terry. Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer will receive the prestigious Maxwell Award as college football's Player of the Year. Once again, the BYU quarterback beat out the Rocket in the balloting, Ishmael finishing second.
Now fighting to stay afloat. Sid Michaels has more on the Eagles' situation.
By this time every summer, the Scranton Eagles have several games under their belts, and they're usually unbeaten. But 1992 has been quite different.
What had really happened, we had some problem with the owners splitting up, and they kept putting off to make sure they were going to. Then a couple of them left, and we started about 5 weeks late. And a couple of guys went back to other teams that came in, and a lot of guys retired. Our whole offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs. So we had to start right from scratch.
Seriously low numbers forced the Eagles to forfeit their season opener last weekend. The team is especially hurting in an area where it traditionally is at its best, up front.
The biggest thing we missed, we couldn't play, were linemen. We didn't have enough linemen to play. We had 52 guys signed up at the later date, and before we had to make the decision about this game, and we had 4 linemen, and only 2 of those had played before, and you just can't play in this league like that.
Ironically, this whole situation may actually help the Eagles attendance-wise. In the past, the big criticism was that they were just too good for everyone else. They were beating the other teams by too many points. Now, they may come down to the level of the rest of the Empire Football League. Their games may be more competitive, and in turn, more fans may come out to see them.
That's been a big cry in the past. You know, you kill everybody. We don't want to come see you kill everybody. Well, this year, and especially in the beginning, we hope to see some crowds. We're not going to be killing people early.
The Eagles will play their first game of the year next Saturday in Newburgh, New York. Sid Michaels, Eyewitness Sports.
Baseball news, Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Hart, New York. Dave Kimball scores in a 1-yard run. The Eagles lead 7-0. Then they go to the air. Quarterback John Kennedy to Bill Michaels. The defense pretty good, but a 46-yard strike. Great catch by Michaels. Scranton leads 13-6. Watch the punt. Watch the punter block it right into his own man. Went right up against his back, and there's the easy touchdown for Wayne Jennings. The Eagles roll. Final score this evening, 60-22. I guess the Boston Strangler is considered the biggest choke artist of all time, but Hunter Novotny...
They capture it on film. So to make sure your pictures turn out the best they possibly can...
In a brand new football season this weekend, hosting the New Jersey Raiders Saturday night at Memorial Stadium in Scranton, with kickoff time set for 7:30 p.m. The Eagles wrapped up practice tonight, and Sid Michaels checks them out.
They just don't know how to quit. And that's why the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles are one of the most successful minor pro football teams in the entire country. It's also one of the reasons why they're back for another season starting this Saturday night.
Well, as long as we like it and we're having fun. We have a lot of great people working in the front for us, organization, and it's a real pleasure to be here.
People are wondering when some of us are going to quit, but there's a lot of guys out here older than me, so I don't know. I have a couple more years left.
For some reason, there's been a big turnout for the team this year, more than the Eagles have had in recent seasons.
Well, we have about 35 new guys that just decide they want to play, and things are turning around. We got a lot of good veterans back, so we're hoping to make a real splash.
There's also optimism that this team can challenge for another national minor pro football championship in 1994.
I think that's a legitimate goal right now with the people we have out here, and if as long as the linemen we minimize injuries, I think that's a legitimate thing right now.
The Eagles will be home for exhibition games this Saturday and next at Scranton Memorial Stadium before opening their regular season on the road. Sid Michaels, Eyewitness Sports.
Stadium for the local semi-pro football franchise. Eagles squaring off with the New Jersey Raiders to start the season. Eagles don't know too much about their opponents. They're pretty busy trying to get set themselves.
Our weakness right now are our offensive line has have enough time to be together. We have a lot of talent there, but they're not ready yet. And our strength, I think, is going to be our passing game. A lot of good wide receivers, good quarterback. We can give them time, or we'll be very effective passing.
Right now, we're looking at getting a lot of new guys involved in the team. We got a lot of new guys out, and probably half the team from last year isn't back this year. So we're going to wait and see how that works on Saturday night.
Well, the new guys are sort of a transition, but it's good in some ways because you get a lot of new guys in some different positions which we haven't had before to build some depth. Depth is probably the big thing that we're getting from the new guys that we have.
Game time tomorrow night, 7:30. Tickets available at the gate. We're told there'll be some.
The root of all evils, as usual. There is other sports to talk about today, and includes the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles. They are getting set to take flight towards another Empire League championship. The Eagles open up their football season tomorrow night at Scranton Memorial Stadium at 7:30 against the Connecticut Indians. Our Bob Ide scouts the '95 Eagle lineup.
There are those familiar names: Kennedy, Leonard, Lloyd, and Michaels, veterans who over the last 13 years have carried the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles to 9 EFL titles and 3 national championships. But if the Eagles are to fly high in '95, then it's the young birds who will have to spread their wings.
But this is probably our second worst start we had. About 4 years ago, we almost folded because we didn't have enough people, and we forfeited our first game. This year we have the numbers, but we don't have all the positions filled yet.
It was tough at the beginning because a lot of guys haven't played with each other and so forth, but we're looking pretty good.
It's pretty tough. There's a lot of learning to go. It's getting a little better now. They're starting to get together, and I'm able to get to my position and go where I'm going.
While Romick will resume his starting center position, the rest of the offensive line is still up in the air. One spot that likes to see the ball in the air is this young defensive secondary.
We're good. I think we're real good. Got nice size, good speed, make good plays. I like it.
Heard you're very quick getting to the ball. Is that true?
The coach say so.
So do these young birds have what it takes to carry on the rich Eagles tradition, all the hard work and dedication that it takes, or will they simply drop the ball?
Yeah, they have a great tradition here. So far, they've been having a lot of wins in the past, and I think it's going to continue.
The dedication is definitely here?
Absolutely.
Bob Ide, News 22 Sports.
Thanks, Bob. Well, London...
His mother and her daughter, not Martin's sister, were killed in a private plane crash in Nevada. Martin's spokesperson says he will race at Michigan this Sunday. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles are just 2-2 in the semi-pro Empire Football League, but don't blame running back Donnie Jackson-Bay. Drew Mitchell says the little man is the big gun for the Birds.
Donnie Jackson-Bay wants to be a professional football player. On most nights, his effort and stats are NFL caliber. Where Donnie may come up short against the NFL's best is size.
I don't think it's so much to do with the height. I think it's just a matter of just, you know, that's a big investment that they're making, so everything has to be perfect. And I mean, as far as my height goes, I mean, I've been this size for I don't know how long now, and I mean, I've been performing pretty well, so I don't think that should play a major part in that at all.
The 5', 8-inch, 23-year-old father of two played football at Lackawanna Junior College, then Delaware State, where he graduated in 1997 with a communications degree. Jackson-Bay is one of the best backs in the Empire Football League. He's scored 5 touchdowns this season and averages more than 6 yards per carry. Teammates say he deserves a shot at the big time.
Donnie's a threat anywhere on the field at any time. It doesn't matter if they've been keying on him and sending people kind of to spy on him, or whether he's been kind of used as a decoy for a while. Anytime he touches the ball, he's a threat to go all the way.
It's never the first hit. Almost never.
Did you ever get caught watching?
Yeah, he does some amazing things. If he's down there, you'll see him break out of things where you think he was going down, but it doesn't happen.
Donnie prefers to lead by example, but a couple of weeks ago before a game, he thought his teammates were resting on their laurels. Donnie quickly put an end to that.
I tried to get to the game, 7:30 game, it was around 4 o'clock, and I was just like actually just watching guys come in. And I think a lot of guys thought that what the Scranton did in the past and what we did last year would carry over, and I just didn't see that same fire in guys' eyes. So I had to step up and say, you know, let's go, and just trying to get guys going. And that's not me. I'm not really the rah-rah guy. I just want to get on the field, play, and let everything happen then.
Jackson-Bay hopes to be selected in the NFL Europe's draft on September 1st. If pro scouts give him a chance, Donnie believes he can break tackles on Sunday afternoon. Drew Mitchell, Newswatch 16 Sports, Lackawanna County.
And as they say, this just in. Found out the Williamsport Cubs.
In his 4 years at Temple, he played in the backfield with the likes of All-American Paul Palmer. And last year returned to his hometown, and what a welcome surprise Tony Angeli was as he helped the Scranton Eagles to 9 straight wins and another conference championship.
Outstanding runner, quick feet. He scored the other night on a screen pass, broke a couple tackles. He's got good speed. He's good. He's blocking a lot better this year.
25-year-old Angeli of West Pittston turned up his nose at 2 NFL teams during last year's strike and now regrets not taking the shot, but the 6-foot, 240-pound bruiser says there's no way he's hanging up his cleats just yet.
This time of year comes around and I just don't know what to do with myself. I just got to go out and I got to play. I enjoy the competition. I enjoy the physical activity, and it's a way to vent my anxiety and my frustrations.
Going to work all day and coming to practice in 90-degree weather isn't exactly easy, but that's what the Scranton Eagles have to do almost every single day. They do it because they love the game, but they also admit that a little fan support wouldn't be too shabby either.
There's some very talented athletes out here, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. And what really hurts is to practice real hard in the summer and not have the fan support.
Well, the fans will have more than enough chances to catch Tony and the rest of the Scranton Eagles as they'll play 5 times at Memorial Stadium, including their opener July 23rd as they host Marlboro. At Valley View High School, I'm Chuck Coletti with you for News 22 Sports.
The Scranton Eagles will open the Empire Football League Challenge Saturday night against the Bucks County Redskins, a game to be played at Gatto Stadium in Dunmore. The Redskins and Eagles are 2 of 8 teams which are participating in this playoff series. The Eagles, who have won 14 straight, are happy to still be playing after last year's mess.
After last year, coming in first in EFL and then not advancing in nationals because of having problems with Albany and everything, I'm sure that this year everybody's hungry. I mean, we're fighting each other out here in practice. We want to play somebody.
Until we play the best competition, I think we always have something to prove. We're undefeated, and we're just looking forward to a challenge right now.
The Eagles did not participate in the national playoffs last year in a dispute over home field advantage. Philadelphia Flyers are coming.
Is tonight. How about those Scranton Eagles? Maybe they should play in the NFL, huh? The Eagles made mincemeat of the Bucks County Redskins last night. First quarter, Kennedy rolls right. Number 17 lets it fly. 43 yards to Mark Lloyd, 7-zip. The cheerleaders were in for a busy night. Later, the little fire hydrant. Frank Yannick scampers 11 yards, 14-zip. In all, Scranton would score 8 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 4 in the air. And look at the bulldozing fullback, Angeli. The Eagles went on to crush the Redskins, 56-13. Yeah, maybe Keller's boys should play in the NFL. And just maybe,
Quarterback, keep your fumble or ball. Fumble on the play. Go, Tony, go. Go, Tony, go. Hey, Tony, Angeli.
JJ, the Lackawanna County Stadium is perfect for baseball. Is it any good for football at all?
It's beautiful for football.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I couldn't believe it. You'd have thought 2 NFL teams came tonight. The excitement was in the air. You could feel it. You got goosebumps all over the place, Miguel. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you'd have thought it was Super Bowl 22 out at the stadium. It was incredible, as I said. I couldn't believe it. Look at that. 8,000 people came to see the first football game. Late first quarter, the defense gets it going, playing center field. Aclor picks off the New Jersey pass, and number 42 makes like a running back. Scampers 37 yards. Nice run. And the bench, yeah, baby, this is neat. Minutes later, the offense, J.K. Kennedy to Edwards. He's got it. 13-yard scoring strike. Number 7 says, yeah. The crowd, hey, this is neat. Jersey's next possession, the Cougar quarterback, look out, smelled out by Bob Kohut for the safety, 9-0 Scranton, and the Eagles went on to crush the Cougars. Get a load of this, 32-0, and it's all on film. All in all, a great night. The stadium is christened, nice catch, with football, Eagle style. The crowd, the game, the event, incredible. I couldn't believe it. And you know what's funny? It started with the Red Barons and the
season is here, at least for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles. Tonight they kicked off their EFL season at home against the Lockport Invaders. The Eagles beginning their quest of another Empire League crown. First quarter action, Eagles get on the board. Quarterback John Kennedy hands to big Dave Kimball, who bowls his way in for the touchdown. 7-0 Eagles. Lockport would make it 7-6, but the Birds strike again. Kennedy, the beautiful play action rollout, and then watch him throw back across the field to Bill Michaels, who makes a nice grab. He goes in for the score to make it 13-6, and the Eagles, come on, Bill, spike this one. Spike it. There you go. Eagles win it. It was ugly. 60-22, the final score. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles were looking to go 2-0 on the young EFL season tonight. The Birds playing host to the Brooklyn Knights at Scranton Memorial Stadium. Pick things up late second quarter. Eagles set up the middle screen to perfection. Quarterback John Kennedy dumps to Dave Kimball, and look out, the steamroller's on the loose. Kimball busting tackles as he rumbles to the end zone to make it 12-0 Eagles. And yeah, that's the way to go. Home team. Later in the second quarter, Kennedy going to work again. Watch the beautiful play-action fake. And then up top to a wide-open Craig Stevens. The Eagles go on to win tonight 29-10. Looking mighty sharp here early on.
The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles took a one-week break from their Empire Football League schedule tonight. After an impressive win against Syracuse last week, the Eagles played host to the New Jersey Raiders in a non-league contest. And yes, we apparently grow them big here at home. Second half action. The Eagles lead 28-0. Quarterback John Kennedy drops back, finds Dave Kimball coming out of the backfield. Watch this hit. Boom! He's upended. Makes the catch. Even Eagles coach Butch Keller, he likes that. Later, Kennedy back to pass. He finds Pat Tisdale wide open down the sideline. He'll be out of bounds at about the 6. On the next play, Paul Andre. He'll go in from the 6. It gives the Eagles a 34-0 lead. They go on to beat the New Jersey Raiders tonight. The final in this one, 41-7. Well, Sweeten's
3, the final score from Canton. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles took their 4-0 record and a sense of revenge up against the Newburgh Raiders tonight. Newburgh, the defending EFL champs, and the Birds hoping to win back their title this year. A cute picture there from Scranton Memorial Stadium. First quarter, Eagles get on the board. John Kennedy, play-action pass to Billy Michaels. And look at the amazing effort by Michaels to work his way into the end zone. He carries the defender in with him to make the score 7-0. Second quarter, Eagles with the perfect trap play up the middle. Big Dave Kimball breaking loose and coming at you, and the Eagles go on to win by a final of 28-16. They are now 5-0 on the season. The St. Jude Classic is tied right now. Fuzzy Zeller and Nick Price have the lead.
Moving on to football now, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles went after their 3rd league win tonight, and 6 overall. The Red and Black from Watertown were out at Memorial Stadium. An early rain left a few wet spots out there at the stadium. First play of the game, the Red and Black with a little flea flick. I guess it worked. A little reverse option pass, 7-0 Watertown. But the second quarter, the Eagles got their offense in gear. John Kennedy at quarterback, and little play action, wide open Dave Kimball in the end zone. And it was a tie ball game. Later in the second quarter, Kennedy would go to the air once again, and Mark Lloyd would be in the back of the end zone. Kennedy to Lloyd, Scranton over Watertown, 28-7 the final. Eagles moved to 6-0 on the season. Meanwhile, Jim McMahon led his Vikings into Berlin for the American Bowl. The Buffalo Bills providing little opposition. This one. Meanwhile, to football now, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles refused to lose. Tonight, the undefeated Eagles went through workouts in preparation for Saturday's clash in Syracuse against the Express. The squad says they're where they want to be.
But I mean, confidence-wise and attitude, I believe we are. We put in 2 good efforts away from home, up in Albany, up in Montreal. We really came together as a team with a lot of starters not there.
Where you want to be at this point?
I think we are trying to still get a little better, but we definitely are at a point where I think we want to be in the middle of the season.
The game plan coming into Saturday's contest is being as hard-nosed football players as we can and get this victory out of here.
The Eagles at 5-0 are in first place in the Empire Football League. The Express could move into first with a victory. They are 5-1 coming in. Quarterbacks Jim McMahon and Mike Tomczak got back together tonight, not as members of the Chicago Bears.
Well, after playing on the road for the past 4 weeks, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles brought their unblemished 10-0 record back home. Tonight, the Birds playing host to the Berkshire Mountaineers. Let's head on over to Memorial Stadium here in Scranton, and fans of all ages on hand. The Eagles wearing the blue tonight, and John Kennedy, play-action pass, Billy Michaels down to the 1-yard line. That would set up a touchdown to put the Eagles up 7-0. Then in the second quarter, tied at 14, Kennedy looking for Michaels again, and he finds him. Nice ball as Michaels hauls it in. He was wide open. Yes, spike it. There you go. 29-yard strike. That made it 21-14. Eagles roll. Final score 35-21. They are now 11-0. To the pennant races now. And
well, last week the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles lost their first game, but they're still in the driver's seat to capture yet another EFL crown heading into tonight's action. The Birds were at home playing host to the Capital Land Chiefs, and they went to work early. Here in the second quarter, Eagles up 6-0. Give it to Sean Megley, and he gets into the end zone from 11 yards out with the 2-point conversion, 14-0. How about John Kennedy? Look at this timing pass. You can't do it much better than that. To Dennis Barley, 26-yard touchdown. That made it 21-0. The Eagles clinch yet another EFL season title. Hello, playoffs. 41-15. The Eagles are 12-1 overall now on the season. To baseball now. And
the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles began postseason play tonight, a semifinal showdown of the EFL Championship against the Watertown Red and Black. Let's head to Memorial Stadium, where the Eagles hoping to turn those colors to black and blue. Third quarter actions, the score, Eagles 20-0. Mike Schuback shows Watertown quarterback Lee Castor what it's like to soar like an eagle and land hard. Schuback with the sack. Now, after an Eagles turnover at the 5-yard line, Schuback again foils the trick play, forces a fumble. Scranton Wilkes-Barre recovers. Now, 2 plays later, John Kennedy at quarterback, hands off to Dave Kimball. Kimball scores to put the Eagles up by 26-0. The final score tonight from Memorial Stadium. The Eagles advance in the EFL playoffs. They beat Watertown 34-0. In hockey tonight, the Flyers beat the Hartford Whalers by...
Revenge was the key word for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles tonight as they faced the Newburgh Raiders for the EFL Championship. Newburgh was the only team to beat the Birds last year, and they did so in the championship game. So tonight, the Eagles were looking to get the last laugh, but it didn't happen. Newburgh wins it by a final of 12-7. Good game from Dave Kimball, 123 yards. Newburgh beat them early in the year, and they beat them when it counts, too. The Newburgh Raiders, the EFL champs. On the ice tonight, it's always a treat when the Flyers...
Come on out! Run it, baby, run it! Touchdown! Touchdown!
Celebrating his winning finish, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles starting off what they hope is another winning season. Home opener tonight for the local semi-pro football franchise against the New Jersey Raiders. Pretty good turnout for the opener at Scranton Memorial Stadium. First quarter, Raiders on the move. Quarterback Arthur Miles back to pass. Picked off by Bob Kennedy. He's got some running room, rambles 25 yards on the return to the Raider 35. 8 plays later, 4th and 3 from the 7. Nice play fake. Eagles going for John Kennedy, hitting his tight end, Jerry Kapp. Eagles up 7-0, and yes, strike up the band. Second quarter, Micah Vonich gets the call from the 10, shedding a tackler and busting in there for the score. Kennedy would hook up later with wideout Craig Stevens for another TD. Eagles starting off the season with a W, beating the New Jersey Raiders final 28-13. To baseball, the Yankees starting to look like the Jekyll and springboarded by their 2-touchdown Week 1 win last weekend. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles flying into their second game of the Empire Football League season. The Brooklyn Knights, tonight's opponent. The Eagles marching on to battle this evening and marching to the end zone on their opening drive. Micah Vonich getting the call from the 1. Eagles on top 7-0. Brooklyn answering quickly. They would drive deep into Eagle territory. Billy Hicks taking the pitch, and he's in. 4-yard score, 2-point conversion put the Knights in front of Butch Keller's troops 8-7. Second quarter, Eagles fullback Sean Megley breaking free, and see you later. 40-yard touchdown scamper. Eagles back in front, but not when it counted the most at the end of the game. Brooklyn knocks off Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Final tonight, 24-23. Well, fresh all those other football-playing Eagles, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre species, also in action tonight, putting their perfect 4-0 record on the line in an Empire Football League meeting with the Montreal Condors. The Eagles offense talking strategy early. Whatever they talked about worked. Opening drive, Micah Vonich getting the call. Not touched from 2 yards out, but he had a little trouble with the spike. Two-pointer failed. Or two-pointer good, rather. The Eagles on top 8-0. Condors first possession. Eagles defense coming up big. Ned Leonard gets the interception. He laterals to John Godbey. They pick up a couple extra yards. The Eagles offense back to work. They were working to perfection tonight. John Kennedy off play action. Lets it fly. Matt Magda's got it, and he's gone. 60 yards for the touchdown, and the route was on. Kennedy, a huge night on the rollout here. One of his 4 touchdown passes to Mark Lloyd. Eagles clobber Montreal 43-zip. They up their league best record to 5-0. Golf's 4th and final major of the year is just 18 holes from
postseason play in some 13 years. Getting into the postseason has never been a problem for the Scranton Eagles, who are undefeated heading into Saturday night's regular season finale against Newburgh. A victory clinches the home field throughout the playoffs.
Offensively, we have to score points. That's just the bottom line because, you know, Newburgh with their passing attack they're gonna put up some points, and our secondary has to play very well. Last couple of weeks, we've been getting beat on some long plays, and if we're gonna win, well, we have to shut down the long play.
How do you match up?
Match up? I think we got a good, strong team. You know, offense and defensively. We're a little banged up here and there, but you know. They got a good line. They got a good offensive line, defensive line, but I know we can come out on top this Saturday.
I gather there will be plenty of head busting out there.
Yes, that's one thing you can be assured of when Scranton and Newburgh get together. There's going to be a lot of hard hitting.
Kickoff at Memorial Stadium Saturday night is at 7:30. Notre Dame head coach Lou Holtz will be...
In Empire Football League action, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles try to remain unbeaten and capture the EFL regular season title. The Eagles hosting the second-place Newburgh Raiders in their regular season finale. It was just say no night at the ballpark. No, not a police escort. Just say no to drugs at Memorial Stadium. Second quarter, Hassan Perkins just can't say no to the end zone. Takes it in. Newburgh up 7-0 at the half. Third quarter, after a bad punt for Newburgh, touchdown run. Micah Vonich taking it in for the Eagles. And then in the third quarter, Butch Keller calls on Vonich again. He delivers again. Taking it in for the touchdown, the Eagles. Regular season perfection. Final count tonight, 14-7. They've got next week off in the first round of the playoffs. They will host a playoff game coming up on October 8th. Down in Hershey tonight, little preseason hockey, Flyers and Cap. Of course, playoff time still far away for the high schools, colleges, and pros, but it is here in the Empire Football League. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles, perfect 10-0 record in regular season play, hosting Hudson Valley in an EFL semifinal playoff contest tonight. Butch Keller and the boys up 20-7 in the third quarter when we pick this one up. Eagles on the move. John Kennedy, straight drop back, throwing right at you. And also in the direction of Bill Michaels. He's gone and hot-stepping it in there to boot. 26-7 in favor of the Eagles. They would go for two. Micah Vonich takes it in for the deuce. 28-7. Hudson Valley, playoff time, not going to give up their next drive. Quarterback Pat Ryder finding Zach Goebel, 28-13. Possible comeback? Eagles defense stiffening. Bob Coat getting the sack. The Eagles go on to win 28-13. They will host the Empire Football League championship game next week, next Saturday night at 7:30. Well, the PGA Tour. Well, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles with a crack at another Empire Football League championship tonight. The Eagles have won 8 EFL crowns in the last dozen years, but none since 1991. Newburgh Raiders of New York, two-time defending EFL champs, trying to make it 3 straight title tilt triumphs over the Eagles tonight in Scranton. Butch Keller's boys ready for action at Memorial Stadium tonight. Scoreless into the second quarter. Newburgh quarterback Hassan Perkins puts it out there. John Godbey at the 30 with the pickoff for the Eagles. Scranton Wilkes-Barre would cash it in on the next play. John Kennedy, the quarterback. Gonna run? Nah, thinks better of it. Look at the rainbow. Matt Magda out there. Great cutback. Magda taking it in, 70 yards. Eagles, EFL champs again. The final tonight, 17-6 over the Newburgh Raiders. Well, the third round is complete. The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles recently captured their 9th Empire Football League crown. Now the Birds beckoning to be called national champs for the 4th time in their history. The Eagles opening up at home in the national playoffs, a quarterfinal affair with the New Jersey Raiders. Scranton Memorial Stadium looking awful nice on a late October evening. Picking up first quarter, Eagles in front 3-0. Quarterback John Kennedy looking for more. Jerry Capps got it, 23-yard touchdown, 10-0 Eagles. Second quarter, after the Eagle defense recovered a fumble, Kennedy airing it out again. Mark Lloyd, the recipient this time, 24-yard score. The defense putting the clamps on the silver and black. Willie the Hitman Smith got a quarterback in his sights and brings him down for the sack. The Eagles advance in these national playoffs, winning 34-6. They will host a game next Saturday night at Scranton Memorial. Well, the top 30 money winners. Scranton Wilkes-Barre Eagles have the playoffs already underway. The Empire Football League champs won their national playoff opener last week, and Eagles meeting Marlborough of Massachusetts in round 2 tonight, what turned out to be a fantastic football game at Scranton Memorial Stadium. This one scoreless for the first 3 quarters, the action all coming in quarter number 4. Marlborough on the move, gets the touchdown run. The Eagles behind by a 7-0 score, but Scranton Wilkes-Barre would come back in this ball game. 50 seconds left. John Kennedy with a touchdown pass. The Eagles with a chance to tie, but they missed the extra point. But they worked the onside kick, able to get the football back. John Kennedy trying to get the game-winning score, but he's picked off, and the Eagles' season is now complete. Marlborough, Massachusetts, knocking off Scranton Wilkes-Barre tonight. Final count, 7-6. We hit pro hoops now. Sixers opening up last night at home with a loss to 3 straight title tilt.